Hey friends, it's Nitya with Nitya Living. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please subscribe and like, and feel free to put a positive comment. We want to keep things as positive and upbeat as we can in a world full of so much hardship and suffering. So, a wedding happened this weekend, and I thought since you all seem to really enjoy my analysis of couple charts in Bazi Chinese Astrology, I would dive into Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker. So he's born on November 14th, 1975. 2059 is his hour. Kourtney Kardashian, April 18th, 1979, 3:15. So, interesting pairing. And, not surprising. I mean, come on. When you see their pictures, they're very glamorous, they're very stylish, they're very physically into each other. And the first year of a relationship is usually the spiciest part of the relationship, let's face it. So let's look at his chart. His chart is really, really interesting. Hold on a sec. I'm going to move us over here and close the computer. There we go. Move you back over. Much better. Then I don't get so much glare. Anyway, so he is born on a yin wood rabbit year. So that's yin wood, yin wood. Yin fire, pig, which is water and wood. Try to keep up with the elements. There are 5. Have you noticed that there is hardly any mention of anything? Wood, wood, fire, water, wood, which is the pig. He is yang wood, rat, which is yin water. His hour is yin wood, pig, a second pig, more water and wood. 2 elements missing. He has no metal and he has no earth. And it's funny because as a yang wood person, he's like a tree. Literally, look at him. He looks like a tree. It's kind of fun. He's long, tall, and thin, just like a tree. So yeah, he is dominant in his own element. Dominant in his own element, 66% wood, his own element, and 38% water, what nourishes him, and a tiny bit of fire, which is his music, right? So we always remember that fire is celebrity. Fire is managing your own business. Fire is singing, dancing, art in all its beautiful forms. Yes. So it's interesting. There, for each of the 5 elements, it correlates with the part of the body. It correlates with the bagua in your feng shui of your home. It correlates with colors, activities, and career opportunities. And it also correlates with food and scent. Okay, so when I do a reading on somebody, I always cover that piece, because if you have missing elements, it tends to cause a certain response in the physical body. Okay, so for instance, you'll remember Naomi Judd had no fire in her chart, and her whole life she suffered with mental illness. Fire is mental health. It's also your heart and also circulation. The 2 things well, you don't, everything is balance, right? I've talked about this. Everything is balance. And when you have a chart that is not in balance, we want to figure out how do we get it into balance. Except when you have a chart like this that is so out of balance that it goes towards being a transformation chart or a follow chart. For instance, if let's say you have 50% or more of an element that falls in what you produce. So for instance, let's say his fire was super charged up and really super hot, like 60% fire. Then it would be a follow offspring because fire is the offspring of wood. But that's not the case. And in order to have a dominant chart, you can't have any of the opposite element. His opposite element is metal. So metal then becomes his enemy. Because when you have a chart that is that heavy in one element or two elements, you don't want to see its opposite. You don't want to break that dominance, okay? It's kind of like, yeah, you just don't want to do that. That's where your life literally can fall apart. So in that, we want to always see for Travis that he has water and wood. And fire is a little okay, but not too much. And we definitely don't want to see earth and metal. So this is pretty groovy. Now, this guy, this is so interesting. What does he look for in a relationship? Well, it's a rat and it's yin water and it is a mom. He wants a nurturing, loving, patient, kind woman to take care of him. So, if you happen to notice, what was Kourtney Kardashian wearing on her wedding dress? A Mother Mary emblem. Can't make this stuff up. It's like, wow, wow, wow. Life is just too rich, isn't it? So, also want to mention that this guy is brilliant. I mean, a creative genius, okay? Super smart, super creative. What an artist. He's also very organized, good planner. I mean, this is a guy, you know, rat people have their shit together. They work hard, they are industrious, they're social, and they are about working hard to make money. Financial security is big for rat people. And we remember the rabbit, right? Johnny Depp's born in the year of a rabbit, and rabbit people are negotiators. They want everyone to get along and very passive. Now, Travis's chart is very yin. So he himself is a very, and you see this, he's very affectionate, very nurturing, all about the kids, very sweet. He's got some interesting stuff going on in his chart too. So the rabbit and the pigs form a semi-wood trio. So that's a good thing. We're reinforcing that wood. He also has a small water trio with the rat and his pigs. This is where things get a little interesting. Little twist is, and this came up also in Johnny Depp's chart for the time that he was getting married. I think I talked about how this was a red flag. The rat-rabbit punishment brings in some funky town. This is unconventional relationships. Yeah, go figure. Travis Barker in an unconventional relationship. Wow, surprising? No. No. Um, this is in his chart. Now, these unconventional relationships can be detrimental. It can get weird. Marilyn Manson. Oh my God, I should look at his chart, right? I wonder if he's got this scenario going on. It can get twisted, friends. It can get twisted in Funky Town. But it can also just mean you're a rainbow cornflake when it comes to relationships, and they just are a little bit different. Okay. Now, the other thing that's interesting is he has two pigs in his chart. And those two pigs form another kind of punishment. And what is that punishment? That punishment is a self-punishment. And especially given the fact that he is a rat, that's his day, very deep thinking, lots of thinking in his head. And I get the sense that this is self-harm. This is negative self-talk. This is getting into ruts of old patterns of behavior, old patterns of thinking. Kind of like if your whole life you've been telling yourself you're a klutz, and you're always tripping, and you're always hurting yourself, you're always sick. It's like you've been telling yourself this. Stop doing that. You know, it's like maybe if you stop telling yourself a klutz, you'll be more coordinated. Probably so. It can suggest somebody who harms themselves, like physically, with cutting or alcohol, but it's definitely some form of self-harm. A lot of it being mental. The current luck cycle that he's in shows more water with a horse, which is fire and earth. Okay. And this is a time of change for him. He's going through a big change in his life. And with that is a marriage. Now, it's not in Kourtney's chart. Relationship doesn't show up there, but it definitely shows up in this time of his life. This particular year, 2022, is a yang water tiger, more wood, and shows, you know, this is a time that's really about being on fire. Like, he is on his game this year. Things are like he feels confident. He feels good. He's got support. He's got friends. He's, you know, his peers. It's a great time for him. He's getting support from outside resources. It's also a deeply spiritual time for him, if that's a direction that his life is going in. It could really be kind of an eye-opening year for him with his faith or his spiritual practice. All right, so I think that was him. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, two things actually. He is born, the configuration for him is that when the month has a certain arrangement, it's very rare, but it shows up. And I don't know his biography, but I would venture to guess that he nearly died as a child, that he might have had a critical illness, maybe he was born premature, I don't know, but there was a serious risk to his health in infancy, in early childhood years. The other thing that's interesting is his chart, he has a void in his day, which kind of means It's harder for him to stay in a long-term relationship. You have to work really hard to make it last. There's more likely to be distance, like if he's touring and she's home, right? Or she's filming and he's, recording in the recording studio. A lot of distance, emotional or physical. All right. So her chart is a little similar to his in that she is also a wood person. And her chart is actually pretty balanced with yin and yang. And you get that sense with her. She seems very grounded. Ha! Yeah, she has almost 70% earth in her chart. And as a wood person, that is what she controls. Interesting, huh? If you ever watch the dynamics with her sisters, you notice she is, it comes to my mind that there is that element of I'm in control, I'm in control, I'm in control. She's very also self-protective. She, interestingly enough, for all that her momager is about, she's only got a trace amount of water in her chart. She has next to no support. It is all about her and what she manifests, what she brings into the world, what she controls. Okay. So this is not a follow wealth chart because the opposite of earth is wood, and that's her, and that's strong too. So that doesn't qualify. But either way, it's a very imbalanced chart. Now, her current luck cycle is yang, water, monkey, all yang, metal, and water. And that metal really puts a lot of focus on marriage, relationships, her mother, money, 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 property, and also in this time of her life, she could also be getting a lot of outside support and be going through her own kind of faith-based spiritual awakening. This current year continues to give her that support. So much water coming in, so much support, not from her mom, but from other sources, outside sources. This is a time, this particular year, her sons are mentioned. And a shift in relationship with herself. Interesting, huh? She's seeing a new side of herself. And in that, her relationships are shifting. Also highlighted are her brothers. Yeah. And her sons. I think I mentioned that. She is not the artistic genius that Travis is, but they are both big planners. They're both very organized. They both receive a lot of resources from family. They both tend to be stubborn. That's interesting. And but she kind of goes off into a different place than he does. She's really a good chatter. She's a great communicator. She loves a good conversation. She's very good at helping people. In a different life, maybe she would have been like a therapist or a coach, a life coach, but she's very good at helping people. She's got a strong drive for success, a very strong drive for success. She also just loves life and she lives it to the fullest. She's got a good chance for steady marriage and romance and family life, and that's what she's all about. She loves the arts. She loves having a beautiful home, wearing beautiful things, all of these lovely things. But she is a force to be reckoned with. She is not to be backed into a corner. She would come out like a wet cat. She likes to stay busy. She's competitive. She's got a wild streak in her for passion, for desires and adventures. She's an interesting one. But there's, like you see, there's a lot of difference here. She has in her chart let's see, tiger, rabbit, and dragon form a full wood trio. And then and then there's a seasonal trio that's a semi-trio of the rabbit and the sheep. Tons of wood support in her chart. What she looks for in a relationship is a partner. Now, I don't know Scott Disick's chart. I don't particularly find him very interesting. I kind of find him a little bit like I don't know. She's looking for a partner and a friend. That's it. He's looking for a mother. Somebody that nurtures and takes care of him, is a comfort for him. So that's interesting. And he's also got this twist of the unconventional relationship. And I would venture to guess that that piece in his chart ignited with that feisty piece in her, that wild side of her that goes after her desires, right? That's adventurous, wants that spice, yeah. And I think that's where it ignited. Now, the thing is, if you were to ask me, could this relationship really last? I will say this. The rat and the rabbit, because she's the day of the rabbit. Rabbits are negotiators. They want everyone to get along. They kind of hang in the background a little more. She's also born in the year of the sheep. It's another, I mean, it's like this is Johnny Depp in reverse. And if you look at it, it's like she's got her two dominant animals are very passive behind the scenes. Wasn't she the first one that wanted to get out of the reality TV show? That is so not her to be in front of a TV. It's just not her. Yeah, and so all that celebrity is that fire energy that's very weak. And it's great that she's in the movie or the entertainment industry because it fuels that dominant earth, right? And so that's really awesome that she's got that going on. But it's like where I could see, so she's the rabbit, he's the rat. They both are pretty articulate, intelligent people, comfortable with each other, you know, and very stylish. These two love to dress up, and I would imagine all this crazy fashion that we're seeing right now is, yeah, it's hitting those two different parts of their chart. The thing is, can that sustain? Can it really last? And where I get concerned is that the rat and the sheep, or the rat, sorry, is, I think, It's kind of like I have a feeling that one of them is going to be working harder than the other, both on the relationship and in life. And if one gets and too slack and not doing enough, it could cause a problem. And to be honest, if this came from anybody, it would be her. Okay, so also the sheep really loves freedom, and rats are possessive. They like collecting things. They like to possess things. Maybe he likes possessing her right now. But that's where I kind of feel like this could be something that lasts for many years. But if it began to falter and fizzle, I would say it would be coming from her. That he's too all over her and she needs space. But could the void in his day give them the space that she needs during times when he's touring and they're both working? We'll see. In the meantime, looks like they're having a whole lot of fun, and I wish them all the best. Thank you so much for listening, and I love your comments. And just so you know, you can go to my website, Nitya Living, Nitya, nityaliving.com, to order an astrology chart. There is also an option now for couple readings. I need birthday, time, and place. But I am backed up, and I am looking at now closer to a 6-week turnaround, and I have summer yoga camp coming in July, and I will probably be not writing or doing really anything during yoga camp time other than focusing on my kids and summertime and being outside in nature and doing a ton of yoga. So just a heads up for that. Right now I'm on a roll. I'm really enjoying all of the chart readings, some fascinating people out here in their world. So thank you again, and be well.